1990, Iraq invaded Kuwait in what became known as the Gulf War. The aim of the war, among other things, was taking control of Kuwait's vast oil reserves. The Gulf War, however, wasn't the first or the only conflict to ever happen in the name of oil. Oil has been a major driver of global politics and economics for much of the 20th century and still plays a significant role today. Countries that control the production and supply of oil have been able to exert significant influence over those that depend on it but lack the resource themselves. As climate consciousness pervades our psyche and the prices of renewable energy technologies drop, oil might, however, become a less significant force in global politics over time. In the interim, a new global force is rising and is likely to play an even larger role than oil in shaping geopolitics in the foreseeable future. Semiconductors. Semiconductors are the tiny chips that power everything from smartphones to cars to industrial machinery. They become a crucial and increasingly scarce resource in the modern world. Just like oil in the 20th century, semiconductors are presently a central issue in global trade and diplomacy, with countries vying for control over the supply and production of these vital components. This is perhaps most strongly evidenced by the current tussle between the US and China over Taiwan, which is the heart of the manufacturing of the world's most advanced semiconductors. While publicly, the cause of the tussle is that Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan was in violation of China's One China policy, it is not difficult to infer that semiconductors also have a lot to do with it. The US feels increasingly threatened by China's growing nuclear arsenal and progress in the development of advanced weapon systems, the scale of which recently came as a shock to the global superpower. Most shocking, perhaps, was the fact that China's cutting-edge hypersonic missiles were being developed with American technology that took years to develop and was funded with the money of American taxpayers. How China developed its hypersonics. In 2014, the US Air Force released an unclassified report on air warfare technology that included hypersonics. While America slacked off after the release of this report, the Chinese promptly acted upon it and invested heavily to gain military advantage and have since fielded their own medium-range hypersonic glide vehicle. To build hypersonic missiles, scientists need to solve complex physics problems related to missile flight and analyze hundreds to thousands of different configurations of heat, vehicle lift, and atmospheric drag, a near-impossible task using physical wind tunnel tests and live launches, as they would take too much time and consume too much in the way of resources. What makes the construction of hypersonic missiles possible to achieve today in a fraction of the time and at a fraction of the cost are supercomputers powered by the world's most advanced semiconductor microchips. In 2016, China Aerodynamics Research and Development Center unveiled a powerful petascale computer capable of handling 1 trillion calculations per second, designed to help improve aerodynamic design for hypersonic missiles and aircraft. The supercomputer was built using microchips designed by Phytium, a Chinese company founded in August 2014 that claims to be an independent core chip provider in China. Its shareholders and main clients, however, are the Chinese state and the Chinese military. By 2018 to 2019, CARDC had published papers on its accomplishments that leveraged Phytium's 1500 and 2000 series chips. It has now joined forces with Phytium, the military universities, and Tianjin Supercomputing Lab to develop an even quicker exascale computer. Named Tianhe 3, this will be powered by Phytium's 2000 series chips and will be able to run 1,000,000 trillion calculations per second. According to the Washington Post, in a secretive military facility in southwest China, a supercomputer whirs away, simulating the heat and drag on hypersonic vehicles speeding through the atmosphere. Missiles that could one day be aimed at a US aircraft carrier or Taiwan, according to former US officials and Western analysts. The computer is powered by tiny chips designed by a Chinese firm called Phytium Technology, using American software, and built in the world's most advanced chip factory in Taiwan, which hums with American precision machinery. To design these chips, Phytium requires the latest technology and design tools that it conveniently sourced from America. Phytium's chip designs are then sent to Taiwan to be fabricated in the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, the most advanced semiconductor manufacturing fab in the world. TSMC is the entity that makes the chips that end up being used by the militaries of both the US and China, including the chips used in advanced American weapons such as Lockheed Martin's F-35 fighter jets. According to an investigation by the Washington Post, military research groups in China that are at the forefront of hypersonic missile programs are purchasing specialized American technology despite being on a US export blacklist that exists to prevent the sale or resale of technology to entities deemed to be a threat to US national security. while CARDC and the People's Liberation Army in China are entities that fall under US export controls. The Chinese military has traditionally still been able to access US semiconductor technology through companies like Tritium. This, however, is likely to change with the Biden administration ramping up export controls on Chinese firms. Technologies purchased by Chinese military groups are purchased through private Chinese firms and include products developed by American companies that have received millions of dollars in grants and subsidies from the Pentagon. According to scientists who work in Chinese military research academies and the companies that aid them, American technologies such as highly specialized aeronautical engineering software was crucial to filling in critical gaps in domestic technology and making advancements in Chinese weaponry possible. So what even are semiconductors and why are they so important? Modern warfare requires modern technology, and modern technology requires advanced semiconductors, the little chips that form the brains of all modern electronics. Semiconductors have and continue to enable advances in important fields from military technology to clean energy to quantum computing, and also enable the most basic consumer electronics, the likes of fridges and microwaves. As the world becomes increasingly digitized and connected, the demand for semiconductors is growing rapidly. At more than $300 billion a year, they are now China's top import and high on China's priority list in its latest 5-year National Development Plan. China, however, isn't the only one buying semiconductors. The global semiconductor market was valued at $429.5 billion in 2021 and is predicted to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 8.8% from 2022 to 2028 to reach a value of $1,033.5 billion by 2031. Like oil, semiconductors are a finite resource, and their production is concentrated predominantly in a small number of countries, including China, South Korea, Taiwan, the United States, and Japan. Not all of these, however, have the same chip manufacturing capabilities. All of the world's most advanced chips are fabricated by TSMC in Taiwan. Overall, these countries have a significant advantage in terms of technology expertise and supply chains and are well positioned to dominate the global semiconductor market for the foreseeable future. The US, however, is acting quickly to bring more semiconductor manufacturing back on shore, as in the last several years it has fallen behind and no longer has the capability to produce the world's most advanced chips. It is also feeling threatened with China's aggressive stance towards Taiwan and bold Chinese claims to bring Taiwan back into its fold, even if it needs to do this forcefully. In order to do this, the US government has provided $52 billion in subsidies for semiconductor fabrication plants through the CHIPS and Science Act of 2022 in the form of semiconductor manufacturing grants, research, investments, and incentives. Facilitated by the US government, TSMC also announced her intention to build and operate a semiconductor fabrication plant in the US in May 2020, and construction began in June the same year. TSMC's first fab on US soil is expected to become operational in 2024. As is evident from the power plays of the two largest global economies, the concentration of semiconductor production in a small number of countries has significant implications for the global economy and international relations. Semiconductors are a key input for many industries, and their availability and price can have a major impact on the competitiveness of these industries, while limiting the export of semiconductors to a country could cripple its economy and disrupt its industries. Perhaps most importantly for geopolitics, however, is that semiconductors are also essential for developing advanced military technologies, and national security has many on edge. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and do subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for when future videos come out.